Welcome to the continuing winemaker series here, and we have a surprise guest. We have Parent from Parent Vineyard in Pomar,
Yes.
right? Just outside of Bonn,
Yes.
in
few
Burgundy,
kilometers
France.
from
And what a great place, and what gorgeous wines. Bringing them all into my private cellar. You guys can't get, okay, you can get some if you want. But this is so fascinating because we were just talking about this company here being second generation. I'm the second person to run it, and you are 12 generations.
Absolutely. 12 generations, yes.
And so, and you were talking about Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, absolutely. When Thomas Jefferson was a kind of ambassador in France, he traveled a lot. He went to Burgundy. He met one of our ancestors, Etienne Parent, and they began to be very good friends. And Etienne Parent sold some vines and some wines to Thomas Jefferson.
Wow, that's
And when he
such
went
an
back
interesting
to
story.
when he went back to Monticello, he tried to grow the vines, but unfortunately, it didn't go. But he was passionate by wines, by winemaking, wine growing, and botanic, and everything.
But they do make wines in Virginia now, and they have one
Absolutely.
called the Thomas Jefferson Cuvée, actually.
Yes, yes, sure.
But originally, he tried to graft your vines.
Yes,
That's so interesting.
yes.
And so, what part of the lineage was that? Was this ancestor? Was it the beginning or was it the middle?
It was in 1787,
Oh yeah, just
so
just a few years ago.
a few years ago, yes.
And so, how long have you been doing this now?
Alors, I took over the management of the estate with my sister, Catherine, 20 years ago. So,
Wow.
2017 is my 20th vintage as the winemaker.
Wow, that's exciting, and you get along with your sister.
Yes.
That's very good. 'Cause if I was working with my sister, don't think that would work out so well.
No, we are good. We are a good team. We are a
Yes,
very
that's
good
great.
team.
That's
Yes.
great. And you're in the winemaking, and she's what, the
I
operations?
have in charge the winemaking and the wine growing
Mm-hmm.
because we are organic. We do biodynamic, etc. And she has in charge a part of some markets because we export a lot,
Yes.
and also all the administration and this kind of things. Very boring for me.
Well, that's me. But my wife loves that stuff, so I let her do it.
So that's why we are a good team.
That's right. It's very good. So we were talking also off camera a little bit about the movement to biodynamic farming, which we had Jacques Lardier, right?
Hey, Jacques Lardier, yes.
Jacques Lardier, and we had Piero Incenza, and I spoke with Gerard Bertrand last week, and now this is all the farming that you do is biodynamic.
Yes, we started to be organic from 2009, and after we were very interested to go with biodynamic since 2010, and it's really a great for us. It's much more than a wine growing and a winemaking. It's really a philosophy
Yes.
and a different approach and a different understanding of our terroir, how to preserve and how to protect our terroir, our health also, and more to be more precise in what we do and in every terroir, how we can feel and how we can understand more about our terroir. So what is important is all these wines are alive.
Yes, and folks, when you sense this, and I challenge my friends that come to our house and I'm going to bring these in to show them to not even taste a biodynamic wine, but really sense its nose to extract what you're going to be tasting because it's so obvious
Yes.
if you spend time on the nose.
Yeah.
Different than conventional wines that way.
Yes. They are more precise. They have more tension. They have
Yes.
more character and personality.
All right, we're going to taste some together, and this one's. You want to start with the white?
As you want, we can
Okay, I
start
think
with
so.
the white. Alors, this white is a very rare wine because it's a Montely, 2015. Montely is a small village, but mostly of the production is red, and you just have the tiny production of whites. So it's 100% Chardonnay, of course, native yeast, native bacteria. This wine has two fermentations, alcoholic and malolactic, aged 14 months in French oak barrels with 30% new French oak. And we don't do batonnage. It means we just keep on lees to keep the freshness,
You
the
don't
fruit.
stir it.
Yeah.
Right.
So this wine has a nice tension and a nice minerality, a great minerality because the soils are limestone.
Now, 35% of new oak, just enough little character, but not overpowering.
No.
You get a little bit of vanilla in there, but really the green apples and the character of the soil, it's really gorgeous.
And not heavy in alcohol,
No.
It keeps a good acidity, good freshness.
And different from all the other districts, the
Absolutely.
Chablis and the Montrachets and the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's an easy, pleasant, approachable wine, and also a rare wine. It's a curiosity.
And how much of that is made of that? I knew I was missing something. Though Jacques
Lardière.
He got mad at me. Well, he made a comment that I had dumped the wine out. We don't dump the wines out. I said, okay, well, I can't drink all the time. All right, so we're going to move into...
Alors, we move to the reds. Alors, this wine, Ladois Premier Cru La Corvée 2014. Ladois is also a small village with not a big production. It's located between Beaune and Nuit Saint-Georges. It's especially down the hill of Corton. So the soils here are limestone. Because you can find some marble quarries just behind this
Really?
Premier Cru. We are mid-slopes, south exposure, and here also it's what we call the lesser known appellation, but this kind of wines are treasures. In
Yes.
Burgundy you have big names, but beside that you have a lot of treasures. And it's a medium range appellation. It's not pejorative. I mean, it's a wine that you can also enjoy young with any kind of food. The pairing with food is great. It's 14 vintage, which is for me very classic. But when I say classic, I mean with a perfect balance between fruit, tannin, and acidity. Not as exuberant as 15, but
You
a
keep
lovely
wanting to
vintage.
smell some more
Yes.
and just smell it again. I
you
don't want
have-
to drink it. I want to just smell it because the smell is so interesting. There's so much going on.
Yeah, you have the fruit, the fresh fruit, because fruit is the base of the wine.
So
for me.
the appellation Ladois is,
Ladois Premier Cru,
is
yes.
how many hectares is it?
160, which is
Oh, it's
very
tiny.
small.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
tiny.
just have 7 Premier Cru in Ladois.
That's it.
And this one is one of the 2 best Premier Cru of Ladois.
Wow. Well, of course, we know that.
Alors after we have, it will be interesting because we have 2 different Premier Cru of Pommard. So same appellation, same grape variety, same vintage, but totally 2 different character and personality. Same winemaking, same wine growing, same proportion of new oak, same proportion of
Same
old
pick
clusters.
day, same everything.
Not the peak day, but bottle day, yes.
Bottle day.
So the first one is Pommard Premier Cru Les Chanlins, 2015. Young vines, 15 years old. In this wine we have 20% old clusters and 80% distemmed. Of course we pick the grapes by hand. After we do a very strictly sorting throughout the fruit. We have 2 different sorting tables. The first one with vibration to take off the small dry berries and the small proteins like micro spiders or ladybugs that we don't need in wine.
Protein, it's not
And,
vegan.
And 15, it was interesting to try again to use a proportion of all clusters because the stems were absolutely well matured and the structure of grapes were balanced between
Yes.
the stem and the berries.
Yes, right.
So,
But the whole cluster has it always been in this particular bottling of the Premier Cru, but
yes, 50. I choose
it's
to add.
interesting.
I choose to add a certain proportion of all clusters in 15 because the stem can bring more complexity to the wine.
Yes.
But you have to manage it very carefully
Yes.
because stem is you sometimes can give some green tannin to the wine, which is not the case
So
with
the
15.
whole cluster sort of gives it a little fruit.
Yes, and here you have a touch of more sensuality, which is important in this kind of wine. You have the fruit, the expression, but you have also the feeling and the sensuality, and this is what I like in a wine.
How much
So
do
you-
you export of your production?
85%.
Really?
Yes,
Wow,
in
that's interesting.
30 different countries. So young vines, mid slopes, limestone soils. Now, old vines, Pommard Premier Cru Les Chaponnières, 2015 also. Old vines, 82 years old.
Wow.
More brown clay soils, 20% old clusters, 45% new French oak at the other one, 16 months aging.
Should we get a little wine in it?
Yes,
There you
I
go.
need a glass of wine. Thank you.
Wow. Totally different wines. Understanding it from the just the vinification is the same, it's just where they're grown.
Yes, and you know, Pommard, what is typical in Pommard is you have really 2 different types, character and personality in Pommard. You have some Premier Cru full-bodied, with a very masculine, with a certain expression, an intensity. And you have Pommard Premier Cru, more with the finesse, the elegance, and the complexity. I used to talk about my wines by using some comparison. Chanlin will be Porsche and the American football player.
Right.
Chaponnière will be Aston Martin
Oh, wow.
and the
That's
golf
great.
player.
That's great. That's a great comparison. And I get it. I understand what you're saying. Well, it's such a pleasure having you here and stopping
Thank
by to
you.
say hi. And we're going to bring the wines in so we can have them in the cellar. And our customers that see this are going to want to participate in this same tasting because they're very, very good. I hope you have a successful
very
trip
much.
here in the States and
Oh, yes.
safe
thank you.
journey back.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So,
Thank you.